You know, I don't. One of the things with these young, even when they depart the program,
right.
I don't lose contact with them.
Good, great.
You know, I want to know what. You know, sometimes I get young men and women that unfortunately they can't participate in the program,
right,
for whatever reason,
right.
And just because I always tell them, don't let that define their future,
right?
Because they are the future, and. So I stay in contact with them. Even, you know, some of them have aged out or moved on to other things. And it's always good to hear from them because, it helps me help our new explorers.
Correct, right.
And, you know, the message they send is always a positive, and I can figure a way to implement it in our program one way or another so that they know don't go down that path. And so but staying in touch with them, it's to me, you know, I just don't want to see them hurt their future, from what their path, and you know, they just, you know, it's great to hear from them what they're doing because a lot of these young men and women, you know, going into the military, you know, and that's a big thing. Obviously, we get the largest military base here. That's always a big thing,
right?
But I try to make sure that you know don't limit yourself. Be. You know, just as they were my kids, don't limit yourself to just that or this. Be who you want to be and follow your dream. If this is your dream, then let's follow it. You know, I had a young man, he was only in our program he was going through the background, and it was during our physical, we were doing pressure point training, and this young man went through the gauntlet of it. Use him as the pressure point dummy kind of sort of, and he was still going through the background. And when I sat down and talked to him, told him he couldn't do it, I told him don't let this define your future. And now he's in Lubbock, Texas, running a Christian group out there, and he's going to enter. You know, he's going to finish college out there. But you know, he's turned. You know, he took his path. His past was not a positive, but he's took that and spun it to a forward. And that's really big to me because I want to see not just kids in my program, but I want to see everybody who, even if they're applying and if they're in for a little bit or whatever, I want to see them succeed. Because I always tell parents and our young men and women that we're all mentors. We are all mentors, and they listen. And they listen to what we have to say. We just have to say it. Right. Don't be afraid to tell them, even if they don't want to hear you. Right. Say it anyway with a positive approach. You don't have to yell at them. Just share it with them, and they'll listen. Yeah. And I don't want to see, you know, I worked the prison system 28 years of my life, and I'm going to tell you right now, there's some individuals in that system that made bad decisions or bad choices. Right. And my belief, if we can just save one, and everybody can do it. Just get involved, and you see a young man or a young lady out there just making a bad choice or a bad decision. It's just saying you have the choice.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say you are amazing. I've been sitting here listening to you, and man, I'm gonna hug you on the radio because you are a bad boy. You are amazing what you're doing for our young people. It's amazing looking at this beautiful young lady. You mentored her. It's amazing the stories you're telling. My God, you're just amazing. I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you. One more time. Thank you. Thank you for what you do. Okay, I'm sitting back and I'm the guest.
All right, Miss Happiness.
Sorry, I'm the guest.
And I grew up here. I grew up in Killeen, Texas, and grew up in the Marble Heights area. Went to Maynard and so that was my area.
You got some history there.
Yeah. I do. And you know what? There was one lady, I don't know her name, and I was that knucklehead child. I was that kid in the neighborhood that they said that young man's going to prison. There he is right there.
I didn't know that's where we were going with this.
That's not where I want to take it, but I was scared. I tell folks this all the time. I was that kid. And there was two people I think had a big influence in my life. And one of them was a lady. And it all had to do with me spitting on the sidewalk. you know, and I was that young man that didn't want to hear you.
Okay.
You know, I ain't got nothing for you.
Right.
And I didn't. But you know what, that lady, she said, young man. And I'll never forget, it was like it was yesterday. And she said, there are going to be young kids, babies, playing on that sidewalk. You could have spit on the street. You could have spit in the grass. But you didn't have to spit on the sidewalk. And she didn't yell at me. She's really nice about it. And she was, all you had to do is just spit on the grass, because there's going to be, I'll wash it off.
Right.
I'll wash it off. But, you know, in the future. And that's what she said. It was that little.
It was profound, though, the way she said
as old
it.
as and I was younger. I was a kid. I remember it. And that's one thing that impacted my life. And, you know, I mean, Killeen was not going to be my home. This was not where I was going to come back to. But it is my home. And I remember that. And for me to, if I can change one man, one young lady, one man, then in just that word, as she saved me, then it's well worth it. It's well worth it. And
you can.
You know, she had a lot to do with it. Of course, my folks had a lot to do with it. That, you know,
she was an outside conversation.
Absolutely. And these, you know, I'd say that most kids, most young men and women, they have choices. We all do. But, you know, there's that gray area in between, and it's a very fine line. And the choices we make on that line can be very destructive and very, very hard. And sometimes you don't know who to go to get out of it. And, you know, I always tell them, don't let your past define your future.
That's true.
Because we do. We live on our past. You know, I made that error. Might as well go and stay with it. And we don't have to.
That's true.
So these guys I work with, these guys, they're great. They're winners. We go to state competition. They've come back as winners.
Good.
You know, the other thing is we hold a summer academy. And we do it for 5 days. It's a week long.
Last year was 6.
And it was. I had to do an extra day with it. But what we do with them is we're able to spend a full day with them.
Okay.
And give them some more additional training.
Like 8 to 5.
Okay.
And,
that's good.
That's
good. In the morning.
Good. That's good. That's good. That's good.
And during that academy, we also pepper spray them.
Oh, yeah.
And they do. It's a volunteer thing. They all want to do it twice. No, they don't. But it is a great experience
that they need to learn.
And they, you know, we teach them firearms training. We teach them, you know, the experience of it. And it's, you know, a lot of our officers come in and work with them, so they're able to do it. You know.
Do you have to be an explorer to go to the summer camp?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You do. You know, it's you know, we're building them from that point, so we're trying to build them up.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, there's something else that you do that helps parents.
Yes, ma'am.
In fact, you help the whole community because you showed me that list, and I was, you know, anyway, it was homework assignment for me. But you know that all popular thing we call a cell phone.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Martinez has something to tell us about some of those apps on your child's cell phone.
What?
Absolutely.
So can you talk to us about some of those lovely apps that our kids use?
Sure. I will.
That they should not be using?
You know, one of the things I do is I educate the public on child safety issues.
Yes.
And I think one of the bigger fears out there, for me at least, and I would think that it should be for most parents, is internet safety.
Yeah.
And you know, we give our young men and women our kids, and let's just call them what they are. We give our kids, we give them these cell phone devices because we want them to stay in contact with us, or we want to stay in contact with them.
Yeah.
In reality, that's not always the case that they're doing. They're using these devices for something completely different, and I share with parents about secret apps and apps in general. And you know, what is a secret app? And you know, this is where they're able to take, let's say mom doesn't want them to have a certain app, or they'll download the app and they'll put it behind this window like a hidden calculator or an audio sound or settings, and it looks just like your normal settings or looks like your normal calculator. And
so it's a fake app cover.
It works. The apps work. And the scary thing about it, they work just like a regular regular calculator, for example. But once you open it up, it will actually have a back, kind of like a
back page,
and I can show you one here. Unfortunately, we're not on TV. I'll show you one here in a little bit. But you know, that's what some young men and women are doing. You know, I also, one of the things when I'm educating parents on it, I give them a list of about 22 apps out there that they should be conscientious about.
Give us a few names.
I'll give you one like Down. The word Down, DOWN. It's an app. If you ever see it on your child's cell phone, this would be one I'd be very alarmed with.
What does it do?
Well, it's one where I find your profile and you find my profile and we like each other. We skip romance and go straight to a sexual relationship.
Everybody, check them out now. You're going down.
I'm going to church. Everybody. I want to see everybody today.
So I share that with parents.
But what's the app that makes everything disappear when I needed to from my parents?
Well, I mean, the one, they've had a couple of them out there.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's, you know, they have invisible apps.
Right.
Secret apps are the ones they're going to do. There's not.
Right.
The other ones they do have invisible apps where I tell parents all the time when you're looking at your phone or a child's phone, and sometimes you will see blank spots throughout. You know, when you look at your app page or when you look at your desktop, you'll see just the icons that are on there.
Yes.
And then you'll see a blank.
Right.
Don't press it. I always tell parents, don't assume that there's not an app there. I tell parents because they also have invisible apps.
Right.
And if you don't press on these, then it can be a hidden app, and it's one that, you know, that you won't see. You won't ever think of seeing it. You'll just pass the page and move forward. So I try to get parents to make sure they understand that you need to press that.
You need to press
that blank spots on pages, because usually what happens on cell phones is the apps will just collect like they're supposed to, but they never leave gaps, huge gaps in between the two apps.
Right.
You're like, well, that's odd. So you need to press that gap app, because if there may be one there. But secret apps, the hidden apps, those are the ones that are alarming.
How did you know about this?
One of the things I do is I had to educate myself, and everything I give the parents is it's a foundation just to start you. You know, and I know you're going to talk about, or parents get to talk about, my child's privacy. Well, you're legally responsible for everything they do.
That's right.
And a lot of parents, the adults are the ones that concern me, because they don't have any idea what their kids are involved in.
Right.
Have no clue. You know, and I try to tell these young ladies, or young men and young ladies, because it's both ways. I try to explain to them that one picture you take, because I love him or I love her, that one picture you have no control of. Once you hit send, that minute you hit send, you no longer own it.
That's right.
Oh.
You no longer own that photo, because the company that owns the app is the owner of that photo.
Whoa.
So they can do what they want with it.
Because every time you download an app, you know that thing says you got the approvals.
Right.
Nobody reads the agreements.
No.
Nobody sat down. They go, okay.
You say, okay.
I got the app. I'm starting to work it. And they have no clue who's the owner of it. So, I mean, I try to educate families on that and make sure they understand that there's so much information out there. The things that I share with them are not, it's on the internet. It's there for you, but you have to research. You have to take time.
And look at
I tell parents, I understand privacy, but you have to, you're legally responsible for it. And sometimes as parents, we have to save our own children from making the errors that we make. And we, you know, it's like fire. We don't let them play with matches. Why? Because they'll burn something down, or they'll catch themselves on fire. Or, you know, we don't let them play on the streets. Because why? Because we don't want them to get hurt. This is the same process.
Yeah.
You have to get involved in what they're doing. The products are great if they're used correctly.
Right.
If they're not used correctly, which a lot of teens don't do it, there, the selfies, and I love him. He's the love of my life for about 2 weeks, maybe a month. And the next thing you know, he's done moved on.
It's true.
But that selfie is out there.
That selfie will always be there.
The selfie is there.
And then you get young men. Unfortunately, you get young men that, it's not so hard on a young man it is on a young lady.
Right. Yeah.
And and we're brutal. I mean, and society in that age are brutal.
Yes.
And we live by these devices. And I try to explain to them that once you send that, you can't delete it. When they get my age, and I'm old, it's still there.
Yeah.
You can go back and look at it and say, well, I look good then. I mean, but now, it's there now.
Right.
And you can't retract it. And it doesn't matter what you, and every one of us that use electronic devices, we have a digital footprint. Yeah. You can't delete it. It's there. It's there for the taking. And the data that we upload is sold through companies.
Yes, it is.
And companies buy it in bulk. Mm-hmm. So if there's something there that interests, who's vetting those folks, I have no clue. And these are the type of things that I'm always trying to educate parents on. So I try to get into a lot of after-school meetings or parent meetings because I want to educate them on what's going on or what could potentially go on, and to look at, I don't advocate a certain monitoring device, but I encourage families to monitor what their kids are doing. Do a couple things. Prevent your children from deleting items from their phones. Monitor. Get a monitoring on their devices.
How do you do that?
You can purchase them, and some cost you.
Like an app, or?
It's an app. It can be where it's linked to your home computer or your phone. Wow. And then if, and I always tell parents, you can have ones that the child doesn't ever see on the phone.
Right.
Icon. Invisible. But I also tell parents, you have to choose your battles. Right. Don't just, if your child uses, for example, the F-bomb, like, oh my God, they're out there cussing. I know I taught them better. You have to choose your battles.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Can you take that same F-bomb and turn it into a learning lesson and say, I know a lot of kids use foul language, but do you think it's appropriate?
Right.
And then educate your children that way. And then if they do something serious, that's when you have to get involved and say,
So someone could call you, like I'll say a church or any group can call you out, and you'll present them with the child safety rules.
I will. And this is something that's offered by the Killeen Police Department. I do these programs absolutely free, and I educate them on stranger danger. I educate kids. I educate adults. It's about sharing safety, children's safety, to the community, and trying to educate them on things that are occurring within our society. So I do a lot of research.
So can we have your number?
Absolutely.
Because there's some people here having heart attacks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. My phone number is 200-7930. My email address is the letter J Martinez, MARTINEZ, the number 2 at KilleenTexas.gov. Texas is spelt out.
Yes.
We're going to have to get you to come over to the Church of the Deliverance.
I will do it, and I'll be more than happy to be there.
Because the more we get all this information out, like with the Explorers, what they do, and what you do to the parents, they're all needed in our community. And all this will help our community grow in the way we want it to grow. Because right now, due to lack of knowledge, our community is going some crazy direction. But it's going that way because we've allowed it, and also because we're uninformed. Because the more informed we are, then the better we'll go back to where we're supposed to be going. Yeah. Because like I said, our city is growing, and we have parents who still the complaint, I don't know what's going on. Okay, so we can tell the Explorers is going on. Parents who saying my kids have a phone, but miraculously, like we as adults, you might leave your phone on the table somewhere and walk off, with your kid walking around with it like this.
Yes. It's alarm.
And most kids have a password on it.
Yes.
And that's one of the things I try to get parents to do. You need to know that password.
Amen.
That's you're paying for the product. One of the other things I I was going to share with you today is, I always try to get parents involved, and it's about getting involved. You don't have to get involved in the entire neighborhood.
Right.
Just get involved in your front yard. Start there and then work your way out.
Right.
I mean, because it's about, if you can start in your front, right in your front, because we put everything we own, my best jewelry, my favorite car, everything I do, we put in one box. One box, and that's what we rather you bought it, rent it. That's our one box that we got. That's what we got,
right?
And we put everything we own. We put it in that one box, and it's about investing right there, right now, because you've already bought all this nice stuff, and nobody wants their stuff stolen. Nobody wants. You got to help each other. We talk about neighborhoods. When I grew up here, and when I was growing up there in the Marble Heights area, you know what? People were involved. I couldn't walk to school without somebody being outside. And it's about investing in your front yard and getting involved and helping each other.
That's true.
Because we got to get involved. I run a kid wash program. And this is we monitor our children as they walk
to school,
and as they're waiting for bus stop. I ask parents all the time, just invest your front yard first, and then we'll expand out from there. If you do it today, we all have that nosy neighbor. We all have. I used to be like, oh man, here they come. I hate them folks when I hated them when I was young, because they always told on me. My mom, don't think you got away. But you know what? I absolutely love you for being that nosy neighbor, because we need more of us to do exactly that. Get involved, invest, because you know what? When our street goes downhill, it's because we as a community allowed it to go downstream.
That's right.
We started barring ourselves in. And we don't have to do all that. What we need to do is we need to, we need to police ourselves. You can't put a police officer on every corner.
No.
And we as taxpayers aren't going to do it. We have to invest, and we have to invest because we have to help each other. Because we have to invest by doing it. And when we see something that's out of line,
say something.
You can call that police department. You don't even have to give them your name. I don't want to give them my name, but this is what's going on. And by golly, somebody's going to look. It may not be in the time frame you want it to, because if you're calling and half a dozen other people calling, but you know what? You have to invest. You could say you did something by calling, because if you just ignore it and say, well, it's really not, that lady's only screaming, then you may have done something wrong. And the reason I say our children, the Kid Watch program, we monitor this because in 2010, and we've forgotten, we've had 2 little girls taken. They were given back, but both these children were violated. I'm trying to prevent that from occurring.
I'm on the governor's task force for human trafficking. So I joined that, and I don't like the numbers for Bell County. I hate them. I'll say I hate them. I hate them. So we need to do something about that.
Absolutely.
But I want to thank you for coming on, Mr. Martinez. And I want to thank you, Lily, for coming on with a strong voice. Who before had the little girl's voice.
you wouldn't think I was 5 feet tall.
She's 6'2", right?
And also I want to thank everyone for listening to Kids Community Connections. And I hope you got a message and a to-do list. And you all should be calling Mr. Martinez, having him come to whatever you have, because the more we know, the better we'll become. But like I said, I want to thank you for listening to Kids Community Connections, 103.1 Kids FM. Also, I want to thank Nine, and I want to thank Deborah for coming on and hanging out with us for a little bit. But I want you to always remember, you cannot lead a positive life with a negative mind. We'll talk to you next Sunday. Bye now.